President Trump aims to release detained immigrants into sanctuary cities. The weather is warming up, but flu season is not over just yet. And in sports, the Athens Bulldogs are in the middle of a historic run. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Good evening, I'm Steven Hernandez. Thank you for joining us. A motorcyclist in Albany has been pronounced dead after a crash with a school bus yesterday afternoon. The Athens Messenger reports that the bus, driven by 65-year-old Charles Horvath, reportedly entered the oncoming lane on Route 356 just after 3:30 yesterday. The bus hit 63-year-old Bruce Shepard, who was traveling in the opposite direction. Shepard was thrown off his motorcycle and was later pronounced dead at the scene by authorities. And in Columbus, a woman and her daughter are in critical condition after being hit by a car yesterday afternoon. Columbus police say the woman and her 4-year-old daughter were hospitalized with serious injuries, leading to the emergency delivery of a stillborn infant and the death of a woman's 6-year-old daughter. Police are investigating the crash, and there is no word yet on whether the driver will face any charges. A national search is now on the way for a new police chief for the city of Columbus. Columbus Mayor Andrew Gintner says he wants the new chief to increase diversity among police officers. This is the first national search for the department. However, internal candidates could still be in the mix for consideration. Tom Quinlan is the interim chief. Kim Jacobs, who stepped down in February after nearly 7 years, was the division's first female chief. Police say a couple made laxative-laced cookies for striking school employees because they were tired of all the noise coming from the picket line near their home. The strike in Claymont School District in Tuscarawas County is in its third week. Authorities say none of the striking workers ate the sugar cookies, but the couple was charged with contaminating the treats. Authorities say Bo Cozens and Rachel Sharrock appeared in court Tuesday to face charges on complicity, permitting drug abuse, and disorderly conduct. The president of a college Republican group at the University of Dayton is facing a backlash after calling Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez a domestic terrorist in an email. Tom Farrell is chairman of the Ohio College Republican Federation. He says the email was sent Wednesday without his approval by a third party fundraising firm. He says the message is not something the organization would endorse. Ocasio-Cortez reposted a screenshot of the email on Twitter. She said, quote, "This puts me in danger every time." The University of Dayton says Farrell improperly used his university mailing address to solicit funds, and Farrell has agreed to stop. The number of U.S. postal workers attacked by dogs has dropped nationally and statewide. USPS says over 5,700 postal workers were attacked by dogs in 2018, which is down by about 500 from 2017. 141 workers were attacked in Southeast Ohio last year. Only one employee was attacked in Athens. However, Ohio has the fourth highest number of USPS employees attacked by dogs. Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati are in the top 20 list for number of workers attacked. The U.S. Postal Service recommends that dogs be put in a separate room where they cannot escape before opening the door to receive a package from a mail carrier. Click.
From the Newswatch Weather Center, I'm forecaster Miranda Mock. Right now in Athens, it is 68 degrees under cloudy conditions, humidity at 83%, wind from the southwest 8 miles per hour. All around the area, 62 in Newark, 67 in Columbus, 69 in Chillicothe. Our warm spots at Jackson, 72 degrees, Ironton at 72 degrees, and 61 in Ripley right now. Coming up next on Newswatch, mild temperatures, rain ahead in my forecast, and the full forecast all coming up next. Ben?
Thanks for the weather update, Miranda. I'll look forward to what you have in store next. Towns in West Virginia could see cleaner water and faster internet speeds. Governor Jim Justice says $3.4 million in federal grants will be used for projects across the state. The grants will help build a sanitary wastewater service system in Yeager, install fiber lines to speed up internet in Bull Creek and Isaban, and improve the wastewater treatment plant in Bradshaw. A West Virginia woman who admitted taking out loans and opening accounts in bank customers' names has been sentenced to 3 years in prison. 46-year-old Karen Kinsley of Grafton received a sentence yesterday after pleading guilty to 1 count of bank fraud. She admitted to originating several loans, reopening closed checking and savings accounts, and using loan proceeds for personal use and payments on other fraudulent loans. Kinsley did all of this when she was a branch manager at Clear Mountain Bank. The judge also ordered her to pay $170,000 in restitution. Coming up, in the middle of a national crisis, Venezuela's once thriving oil rigs have seen much better days. Plus, Vice President Pence speaks out on President Trump's previous comments about Julian Assange. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
The U.S. wants to see Nicolás Maduro leave Venezuela's presidential palace and is urging the United Nations to recognize Juan Guaidó as the country's leader. This comes after the U.S. halted imports of the Maduro government's main source of revenue, oil. CNN traveled to western Venezuela to visit the heart of oil country. Once a thriving region, its rigs are now in shambles. David McKenzie spoke to some oil workers and brings us their stories.
Venezuelan oil workers giving us a rare look inside their crumbling industry. They brought us to the Salinas oil fields. It's risky speaking out. They could be fired or detained by Venezuelan intelligence. But they want the truth to get out. Populism finished all of this, he says. Do you see this? Nothing works anymore. The government finished us completely. They say successive Venezuelan regimes use state oil company PDVSA as a slush fund for socialist programs and their own personal gain. This entire coastline is just covered in oil sludge. The regime blames the collapse of the oil industry on the US, but it's been collapsing for years. Trump administration sanctions could make it worse. The US was PDVSA's biggest customer. In March, the US bought 0 barrels of oil. the first time since the 70s. And the retired oil workers who helped build this company say they gave decades of their lives for almost nothing. Some say they are forced to eat dog food. They say their pension's worth around $5 a month. It's outrageous, outrageous. Look at us, he says. We don't have money for medication, for food. Soon we'll have to bring our dead colleagues to this protest. Normal? Well, normal if you're living in this country, he says. I want America to take out Maduro, to get him out of here, he says. He's stealing from the people. He's taking food from us. Now they're taking for themselves. Last week, looters ransacked this pharmacy looking for medicine. In nearby Maracaibo, a mob spent 2 days tearing a hotel apart. They even ripped out the carpets. The true scale of Venezuela's crisis becomes clear when the sun sets. Business leaders say it's like The Walking Dead, a zombie economy with 80% of businesses closed here. In this energy-rich region, people are left to shelter in their homes in darkness. David McKenzie, CNN, Maracaibo, Venezuela.
Yesterday's arrest of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange on a U.S. extradition warrant is putting President Trump's previous comments on the site in the spotlight. Back in 2016, then-candidate Trump praised WikiLeaks for its role in disseminating internal Democratic Party communications. But in an exclusive interview with CNN Thursday, Vice President Mike Pence denied that Trump's previous comments on WikiLeaks meant he's a supporter of Assange.
Well, I think the president always, as you and the media do, always welcomes information, but that was in no way an endorsement of an organization that we now understand was involved in disseminating classified information by the United States of America.
Pence also accused Assange of being involved in one of the greatest compromises of classified information in U.S. history. As for Trump, when he asked Thursday about those earlier comments, he said, quote, "I know nothing about WikiLeaks." President Trump is looking at releasing detained immigrants into so-called sanctuary cities. The president confirmed the proposal was under consideration today. In a tweet, he blamed it on Democrats who he says, quote, "are unwilling to change our very dangerous immigration laws." Recently, the Trump administration said they were no longer pursuing a plan to release immigrants detained at the southern border into sanctuary cities. There is a question over the legality of such a move. A source says earlier this year, President Trump personally pushed then Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen to follow through on the plan. Nielsen resisted. The DHS legal team's analysis eventually killed the plan. Nielsen is no longer at the DHS after being forced to resign. When we return, we'll see why even with the warmer weather, flu season is not yet over. That story is still ahead.
All that and more coming up in my full forecast. Mild temperatures, rain ahead, full forecast, and now a look at stocks.
Is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse.
TV played Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
The Center for Disease Control and Prevention today said that the nationwide flu activity is going down but is still elevated, tying this flu season for the longest in the last 5 years. Kristen Holmes has a report.
The flowers may be blooming and the weather getting warmer, but it's still flu season. According to the Centers for Disease Control, this flu season is now tied as the longest in the last 5 years at 20 weeks. For comparison, the last 5 averaged 16 weeks. While flu activity continues to decrease, it remains higher than normal for this time of year. Since last October, the CDC estimates there have been hundreds of thousands of flu hospitalizations and at least 34.9 million flu illnesses. Anyone can get the flu, but there are ways to protect yourself.
If there are individuals out there who haven't had the flu vaccine but would consider getting it, they should talk with their physician.
Particularly important for those who are high risk for getting the flu, like young children, pregnant women, and people over 65. The CDC also urges everyday preventative measures like avoiding close contact with anyone who is sick and washing your hands often with soap and water.
If an individual thinks they might be coming down with flu, they have fever, maybe body aches, sneezing, cough, whatever, they should contact their physician.
In Washington, I'm Kristen Holmes reporting.
And as a massive storm continues north, millions of people across the Midwest remain under winter weather alerts. Schools and city offices are closed Friday while emergency crews work to clear roads. Omar Jimenez is in Minneapolis with the latest.
When Mother Nature is the culprit, you just really have to be on your toes because you never know what's going to happen.
Crews across the Midwest are working to clear roads and restore power following a spring snowstorm that swept through the region with blizzard-like conditions.
Been kind of rough with the rolling blackout because the truck stop has been shut down basically. You can't get in to get any food or anything.
Dashcam video from the Minnesota State Patrol shows a trooper struggling against high wind, trying to direct traffic around a jackknife semi-truck. Across the region, police are urging people to stay off the roads, but to use caution if they have to leave their homes. And residents seem to be taking that message to heart.
The roads, a lot of roads weren't plowed already, and they're very slippery, and you had to watch it, even with a four-wheel drive.
Minnesota's governor has signed an emergency executive order declaring a peacetime state of emergency and deploying the Minnesota National Guard to assist stranded motorists across the state. Minneapolis public schools are closed Friday in response to the storm, as are the public schools and non-emergency city offices in Fargo, North Dakota. In Minneapolis, I'm Omar Jimenez reporting.
From the Newswatch Weather Center, I'm forecaster Miranda Mock. Right now in Athens, 68 degrees under cloudy skies, humidity at 83%, winds from the southwest at 8 miles per hour. All across the region, 67 in Columbus, 69 in Chillicothe, 68 in New Lexington, and down here in Jackson and Ironton, 72 are 2 warm spots for the area. 50 degrees tonight in Athens, mild temperatures, calm conditions, winds southwest 6 to 11 miles per hour. All across the region tonight, 45 in Columbus, 46 in Chillicothe, 47 in Jackson, 49 in Ironton, and 51 in Ripley. Tomorrow in Athens, 72 degrees, warm sunny, and wind should be light and variable. Tomorrow, all across the region, 66 in Columbus, 68 up in Newark, 69 in Cambridge, 73 in New Martinsville, 72 in Marietta, 75 in Ripley, very warm in Ripley tomorrow, 72 in Ironton, 70 in Jackson, and 67 in Chillicothe. Tomorrow, currently, we can see that there is a low pressure system to our south, creating a stationary front that is bringing us these clear conditions that we are seeing right now. Tomorrow, a high pressure system should make its way over the area, which is why we should be seeing warm temperatures with no precipitation. Sunday, this stationary front will push up into our area, bringing a chance of showers and some thunderstorms. So be on the lookout for that on Sunday. This line of rain right here should really come in and affect our area. For the 7-day forecast, Saturday, 72 degrees, sunny. Sunday, 73 degrees, 90% chance of rain. That is that storm system I was just talking about in the precipcast. Monday, after that storm system pushes out, the temperatures begin to fall. 53 degrees, 40% chance of rain. Tuesday, 67 degrees, also sunny, but not quite as warm as we've been. Wednesday, 72 degrees, finally warming back up. Partly sunny skies. Thursday, 72 degrees, also partly sunny skies, but a 50% chance of rain. And Friday, 60% chance of rain, 65 degrees, and partly sunny skies. Back to you, Stephen.
As always, thanks for the weather update. Being physically active can help prevent disability in those who have or who are at the risk of joint conditions. Melissa Rainey explains in today's Health Minute.
As much as we may hate breaking a sweat at the gym, there's no disputing regular exercise can be beneficial to our health. And now, according to a new study in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine, at least 1 hour of working out each week can help prevent certain disabilities. The study, conducted from 2008 to 2014, followed patients from ages 49 to 83 years old who suffered from knee osteoarthritis. According to the nonprofit Arthritis Foundation, osteoarthritis is not only the most common type of arthritis, it also affects more than 30 million Americans. Research showed that participants who managed to get nearly a whole hour of moderate to vigorous exercise per week had an 86% lower chance of being mobility disabled compared with those who got less exercise. So if you're looking for another reason to keep that gym membership, there you go. For today's Health Minute, I'm Melissa Rainey.
After the break, we'll hear from WOUB Sports Director Thomas Garverick about the Athens Bulldogs and their historic run they are still on. That story and more when Newswatch returns.
A box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
The Athens baseball team has dominated the TVC Ohio. They've won 7 of the last 10 league titles in a row. Now they're in the middle of another historic run, and WOUB Sports Director Thomas Garvrick has their story.
It's been almost 3 years since the Athens Bulldogs last lost a game in the TVC Ohio.
It's really neat, you know. I hope to continue through this year with a streak. So that's our goal, you know, to win the TVC and then, you know, continue in the tournaments and go as far as we can.
The streak is currently at 30 games. The key to their success, it's all about the daddy hack.
You're just going up there trying to hit a nuke, swinging as hard as you can, taking a big hack.
Although we just hit bombs every game. That's all there is to it.
Hitting bombs and taking care of business on the diamond.
Like Coach says, you know, players that field the best and throw the best usually win.
But it also helps that the core of this Bulldogs team has been playing together for the past 8 years.
They do everything together, so it only, you know, not off the field, but even, you know, on the field, you can just see how tight they are.
The closeness, how everyone just feels so comfortable playing with each other. Everyone's hungry, everyone wants to win. It's just a bunch of gamers playing ball.
So the chemistry is there to make winning easy, but more importantly, just having fun.
We like to break things up and give them a little free day and have a little fun from time to time.
It's a very loose group. We got a ton of very funny kids. Keep it very loose.
Probably the bombs I hit. I don't play a whole lot, but when I do, big daddy hacks.
The Bulldogs might just be daddy hacking their way to their 3rd straight TVC Ohio title. Thomas Garvrick, WOUB.
Dogs on 3.
And in Singapore, you can now have a mini vacation without ever leaving the airport. This is the Changi Airport's new multi-story jewel building featuring what the airport says is the world's tallest indoor waterfall at about 131 feet. At night, the sheet of water turns into a screen where a light show is displayed. The site is open to visitors 24/7. The light and sound show is situated right at the center of the jewel. And other attractions include the Shiseido Forest Valley with more than 900 trees and palms and about 60,000 shrubs. There is also walking trails, a mirror maze, and more than 280 stores and restaurants. Now back to Miranda for the final weather here in Athens.
Welcome back. Tonight in Athens, 50 degrees, mild, calm, southwest wind 6 to 11 miles per hour. All around the area tonight, 46 in Newark, 45 in Columbus, 46 in Chillicothe, 47 in Jackson, and 49 in Ripley. For the 7-day forecast, Saturday, 72 degrees, Sunday, 90% chance of rain and a possible rumble of thunder or two, 73 degrees. Monday, 53 degrees, 40% chance of rain. And after that cold front and that storm system moves through, Tuesday, 67 degrees and sunny. Back to you, Stephen.
Thanks, Miranda, and that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Stephen Hernandez. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can catch the latest news anytime at WOUB.org.